Hello everyone, welcome to Digital Schools at America. My name is James, one of the e-guides here at America, and we welcome audience members joining us online. We hope that you're doing well and staying safe. At America is the United States Embassy's American Center, and our mission is to provide a space for young Indonesians to learn more about the United States. In this episode, we'll be having the Global Migration Film Festival, but before we begin, let's break the ice with a little game. I have here a question for all our audience members. What year was the first Global Migration Film Festival held in? I have here several options for audience members. A, 2014, B, 2015, C, 2016, and D, 2017. Stay tuned until the end of this program because we'll be giving a live shout out to whoever can answer correctly on our social media. Other than that, don't forget to take a selfie and tag at America's Instagram account. Now, without further ado, let me introduce everyone to today's MC, Kak Litwina Putri from IOM Indonesia. Kak Litwina, the stage is yours.
Thank you, James. Hello, everyone. Good afternoon and welcome to the 5th Global Migration Film Festival, a film screening and discussion event organized by the International Organization for Migration in partnership with At America. Today's event is also supported by Info Screening and the United Nations Communications Group in Indonesia. I would also like to say hello for our audience, especially the international relations students from Universitas Andalas and also the international relations students from Universitas Jenderal Sudirman. So the Global Migration Film Festival is organized to commemorate the International Migrants Day, which falls on 18 December. And today, to commemorate that, we will have a music performance from migrants in Pekanbaru, followed by 2 short films, Anniversary and Rawuh, A Swollen Head. And toward the end of the program, we will also have the Migration Talk, bringing together our great panelists. The topic for the Migration Talk is Reimagining Human Mobility, Labor Migration. Before we start with the screening, I would like to invite Mr. Mark Neighbors from the political section of U.S. Embassy Jakarta to deliver his opening remarks. Mr. Neighbors, the time is yours.
Selamat pagi semuanya. Nama saya Mark Neighbors dan saya Political Officer di Kedubes Amerika Serikat di Jakarta. Salah satu pekerjaan utama saya melaporkan masalah-masalah yang dihadapi pengungsi di Indonesia, dan saya juga terkadang membantu rekan-rekan saya dalam masalah-masalah tenaga kerja dan migrasi yang lebih besar. Saya ingin menyampaikan terima kasih yang tulus kepada rekan-rekan saya di Kedutaan Besar dari At America dan IOM atas kesempatan untuk berbicara kepada Anda semua. Saya sangat senang menjadi bagian dari Festival Film Migrasi Global. Mengetahui bahwa kami adalah satu dari lebih dari 100 organisasi di seluruh dunia yang menggunakan festival tersebut untuk menjelajahi tren mobilitas manusia internasional. 2020 adalah tahun ketiga kolaborasi antara Kedutaan Besar, At America dan IOM, dan kami berharap tahun-tahun yang lebih bermanfaat untuk menyinari topik migrasi. Dan yang terpenting, terima kasih kepada pembuat film dan subjek dari film-film hebat ini yang akan kami tonton selama beberapa hari ke depan. Seperti yang Anda ketahui, Indonesia memiliki posisi yang unik karena menerima para migran dan pengungsi dari luar negeri dan juga memiliki populasi tenaga kerja Indonesia yang besar yang tinggal dan bekerja di luar negeri. Perspektif ganda khusus ini akan membantu kita mendengar dan menghargai keragaman dan cerita penting yang diceritakan dalam pilihan film yang luar biasa yang disatukan untuk festival film ini. Saat-saat yang sangat menantang dan sulit selama pandemi ini telah menjadi kesempatan untuk mengingatkan kita semua tentang kemanusiaan kita bersama dan harapan serta impian kita bersama untuk diri kita sendiri dan keluarga serta teman kita. Akhirnya, Saya senang berada di sini pagi ini untuk alasan yang sangat khusus. Beberapa leluhur ayah saya datang dari Perancis hampir 350 tahun yang lalu kerana mereka melarikan diri dari penganiayaan agama dan menemukan rumah di tanah yang pada akhirnya akan menjadi Amerika Serikat. Baru-baru ini, ibu saya lahir di Tiongkok Selatan pada di zaman revolusi komunis. Itu adalah negara yang dilanda perang puluhan tahun. Sebelum perang saudara berakhir, dia dan keluarganya melarikan diri ke Hong Kong, Inggris. Di Hong Kong, dia dibesarkan miskin, tapi beruntung karena dia aman. Tidak mengherankan, dia dan sebagian besar keluarganya tidak banyak membicarakan pengalaman itu. Tetapi, saya sering bertanya-tanya apa yang akan terjadi jika keadaan sedikit berbeda. Jika keluarga saya meninggalkan semua yang mereka ketahui dengan harapan kecil untuk kehidupan yang lebih baik di tempat baru. Ini adalah pelajaran yang saya coba pikirkan ketika saya sedang menangi masalah-masalah penting ini untuk berhenti dan mendengarkan suara para migran dan pengungsi. Jadi, sekali lagi saya ucapkan terima kasih kerana telah mengizinkan saya menjadi bagian dari acara penting ini, dan sekarang mari kita duduk dan menikmati acaranya. Terima kasih.
Thank you, Mr. Neighbors, for the wonderful speech. Now, I would like to invite Mr. Patrick Chirac, Program Support Officer of IOM in Indonesia, to deliver his speech. Mr. Chirac, the time is yours.
Thank you, Putri. Dear guests, ladies and gentlemen, I want to thank you all for joining us this afternoon. On behalf of the International Organization for Migration, it is my honor to welcome you to the opening of the Global Migration Film Festival 2020. Before beginning my brief remarks, I would like to express my thanks and appreciation to Mark Neighbors for his earlier remarks, and to all the staff at America and the American Corners, especially Rossi, Danny, Lexi, and Scott, and everybody behind today's production. Dear guests, the Global Migration Film Festival, now in its 5th year globally and 4th year in Indonesia, features films and documentaries that capture the promises and challenges of migration and the unique contributions that migrants make to society. This year's celebration of the GMFF takes place in an incredibly challenging context amid the COVID-19 pandemic. And while we cannot hold physical screenings this year as we have in years past, we're very eager to show you these new films online to continue the important dialogue about migration. The unique aspect of our film festival is its truly global nature, as over 800 films were submitted by filmmakers worldwide as part of this year's competition, including many submissions from Indonesian filmmakers, one of which we are proud to share with you here today. The goal of the Migration Film Festival is to open audiences to a larger, more nuanced discussion concerning migration, one of the mega trends of our time. Looking at the numbers, more people are on the move than ever before, 272 million international migrants. But migration has always been part of the human story. Statistically speaking, the percentage of international migrants has remained remarkably stable at about 3% of the global population. Most migration is by choice and through regular means. People migrate for opportunity, as in the case of 164 million migrant workers, or the 5 million international students worldwide. Mobility of people, when orderly and properly managed, is duly recognized as a major driver of prosperity and sustainable development. Other forms of migration, however, are not by choice, but rather are forced. Data from 2020 shows that 79.5 million people, a record high, have been forcibly driven from their homes, displaced by conflict, natural disasters, environmental pressures, or human rights abuses. While these stats are useful to be aware of from a bird's eye perspective, we mustn't overlook that each individual has a unique story, and it is here that film plays such an important role. For IOM, the Global Migration Film Festival is an advocacy tool, one that can draw attention to the harrowing journeys of migrants and the vibrancy they bring to our communities, but also draw attention to the perils of xenophobia or the abuse of migrants' human rights. Of course, today is December 10th, the day the world commemorates Human Rights Day. And what better moment is there than today for us to remind ourselves of the unique challenges faced by migrants to enjoy their full rights as human beings. While migrants are not inherently vulnerable, they are far too often at a heightened vulnerability to human rights violations. Migrants in irregular situations, in particular, tend to be disproportionately at risk to discrimination, exploitation, and marginalization, often living and working in difficult conditions, afraid to complain, and denied their human rights and fundamental freedoms. On Human Rights Day, we should reaffirm that migrants are entitled to their full enjoyment of their human rights, regardless of their migration status. Dear guests, the highlighted film of the day is Raul, a debut film by a young Indonesian director who happens to join us here today, Agung Kurniawan. Although it is a fictional film, it is inspired by the complex social, economic, and cultural issues faced by Indonesian migrant workers and their families. Indonesia, of course, is a major country of origin of migrant workers who are primarily employed in low-wage sectors. Through remittances and skills development, Indonesian migrant workers contribute enormously to the household economies back home and to the wider sustainable development of their home communities. Notwithstanding, Raul shows us a unique glimpse of some family and community dynamics in relation to labor migration. And I'm sure it will spark an interesting conversation following today's viewing. Without further ado, I would like to thank you once again for joining us virtually here today. And I hope you find the time to attend other screenings organized until December 18th this year, which marks International Migrants Day. In doing so, I hope we will all be more conscious of the many faces of migration, and that you come away more assured than before that when migrants are empowered and protected, we all stand to prosper. Thank you once again, and I hope you enjoy the program. Selamat menonton.
Thank you so much, Mr. Shirak, for the wonderful speech. And now, please stay in front of your screen and grab more drinks and snacks. Our next program is the performance from migrants in Pekanbaru. They would like to express and share our experiences through music. So please give a round of applause for migrants in Pekanbaru. Enjoy!
Meaning of country, meaning of community, meaning of friend, family, meaning of event,
a thing that happens, especially one of importance.
meaning of distance,
An amount of it being listened to things or people.
meaning of bygone,
A thing dating from another time.
memory.
Something remembered from the past.
خالي دوري خالي دوري تو خالي دوري خالي دو تو خالي دوري خالي دوري تو خالي دوري خالد. Meaning of vanity, meaning of anxiety, meaning of option, authority, meaning of discord,
Feeling or belief that someone or something is worthless.
meaning of refugee,
A person who has been forced to leave their country.
refugee,
A person who has been forced to leave their country.
refugee.
A person who has been forced to leave their country in order to escape war, persecution, or natural disaster.
I hope you enjoy the performance from our migrant friends in Pekanbaru. Now, we would like to start the main event, which is the film screening, which will also be continued with the discussion. Following the performance, we would like to screen two films, which is Anniversary and Rau, A Swollen Head. Before that, I would also like to remind you that taking screenshot or recording is strictly prohibited. Jadi dimohon untuk teman-teman yang akan menonton untuk tidak mengambil gambar atau merekam film selama penayangan berlangsung. So please don't take screenshot or any recording throughout the screening. Untuk pemutaran film, kita akan melakukannya melalui Facebook, Twitter, dan live stream di www.atamerika.or.id. For the film screening, we will screen through Facebook, Twitter, and then live stream on America website, www.atamerika.or.id. So, ladies and gentlemen,